Hi there, it's Alan here from Science in a Van. Yeah, we're just at 11 o'clock, so I'll start. We've got a few people joining us, and that's good. If you're watching us later on Facebook or YouTube, welcome. There we go. So, hey, first of all, my name's Alan. I'm from Science in a Van, and we're bringing you a bit of live content from our shed at 275 in the beautiful South Auckland. And we're going to go on a mystery tour of electronics. So over this week I'm going to go live at 11 o'clock each day and update you with a project that I'm going to start today. I don't know what's going to happen, so I can't tell you much. However, if you've been following us on Facebook, you would have seen that we shared a video from a guy called Peter Vallick, a Czech artist, sound artist, does lots of experimental music, take circuits and make them do other things, and it's really cool stuff. So this week we're inspired by that. We got a bit of feedback on regarding what happens. So yeah, I've just had a bit of a hiccup on my technology, but we seem to be doing all right. So let's carry on. So like I say, this week we're going to do a Peter Vallick inspired project. I'm going to talk you through a few things as we go forward, and we'll see what happens. So first of all, you might have noticed, regular Science in a Van fans would have noticed that I'm here but Emily's not. Well, there's a reason for that. Because we go into schools and we do science shows, and because of what's happened with COVID-19, we've been a bit quiet with work this time of year. So Emily's actually found a sort of temporary job doing some work and stuff, so she won't be taking part in these videos, but we will do a video together, and if you see her, say hi. And there we go. So it's just going to be me this week. Emily's away working and stuff, so we'll get on and we'll see what happens as we go through. Now, like I say, I'm going to talk you through some basic electronics, hopefully inspire you to try and do some electronics. We had someone comment on the video we shared of Peter Vallick that they wanted to make one. So hopefully through this video you'll feel inspired to go and make one as well. And we'll probably actually get to making sculptures like his things that spin round and hit stuff probably more Wednesday. But I've got a few things I want to explain and show to you before we get to that point of making. So here we go. First of all, electronics. I've been playing with electronics on and off for a bit now. It's a lot of fun and there's lots of great stuff you can do. First of all, I want to show you this. Now, if we look at this, this might look like a tin of mints, but when we get round to this end, things get interesting. There's a switch, a USB and a light. Now if I flick the switch, the light should come on, and if I flick the switch the other way, the power comes to the USB port, and if the switch is in the center, it is off. So this here is my emergency power pack, and inside we got some regular AA batteries. We've got the little circuit here, and we've got a cable for charging up my phone or my bike lights. The whole reason this is designed is now and then when I'm out, my battery might get a bit flat and I can't send a text, or the lights on my bike might be running a bit flat. These batteries in here, and with this device I can charge that. It won't charge a flat phone to a fully charged. We can put enough charge into our phone or into our lights just to make them last a little bit longer. And unlike other battery packs, because it has AA batteries, you can pretty much buy those in any dairy and store there. So I made that. I made it into a little mint tin. There's a whole community on the internet that put things in tins, from electronics, turning these into mint, sewing kits and art materials. So that's worth checking out. That's one little experiment I've done. Also made this. Now this might look like a grater with a switch on it, because it is, but it's not an electronic grater. Oh no, check this out. Tell you what. Now, just gonna knock these lights off. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, let's try that again. Hey, look at that. So this is a grater I found in a second-hand shop. Second-hand shop grater, and with a broken torch I found that someone was throwing away in their shed, I managed to make this grater light. So that's a little bit of fun electronics that I've done at home. Got a few more things to show you. Just flick on the lights again. So, by the way, any comments please flick up as we go along, and also go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there as well, because we're going to put some content up to support the stuff I'm talking about on our YouTube channel as well. Here's something else I made. This ain't really explanatory until you really see it work, and then it's still got a bit of mystery behind it as well. But what it's made out of was, I found an old broken toy just dumped in the street, so I picked it up and I used it from there. So I'm going to turn it on, and this happens. Do that again. And then if I push this button here, that happens. So I took the toy apart and rewired the circuit up to this large speaker here. I put this metal stick thing on it and this thing here, and I put this on off switch as well. Now this metal sticky thing here, guys, just to let you know, I'm aware that we're having slight issue with keeping an internet connection. I keep stopping and sticking. I think a few people are trying to send me a message to explain this. Got the door, yeah, everything should be alright, but we'll just see what happens. So I hit here. Oh, I'll turn it on first. I hit here and this happens. But if I hit that again and turn this, it's the volume. So this, turning this here, means we can get the volume going. And this little clicky thing here, if I get it, it actually cuts a noise to the speaker. And if we do things like we can get all a bit experimental sound stuff with this as well. So there we go. Now this here is another little thing that I made. It's a bit of fun. So it's actually a noise maker, but I've took the speaker that was in here out and attached these two crocodile clips. Now what I can do is, when I'm looking inside electronics, if I find something like a speaker, I can hook this up to the speaker, and when I hit the button, hey, what you know, check that out. So when we're looking inside stuff, if we see circuits or things hooked up to to speakers, we can do it. Now, give you a little simple example. Here is a telephone handset. I'm going to unscrew the telephone handset, because in theory, for me to hear you through the phone set, there must be a speaker. So in here should be a speaker. So let's take this. So I keep freezing. Let's take this apart, and inside is a few wires. Guess that's a microphone for us to speak in, and here is our speaker. So I'm going to take our little device I showed you earlier. I'm going to take the speaker out. I'm going to attach this the best I can to. Now, a lot of what I'm doing over the next week, I have some knowledge, but it's all a surprise to me as well. So I don't quite know how it's going to pan out. I don't quite know if things are going to work. We might have to do some tinkering and work out what's going on. Also, I might not know. So any comments, greatly received. Here we go. Let's try this. Yeah, look at that. And let's have a... bit of fun, and I can hook this up to different circuits and see where they go to the speaker. So that's a lot of fun there. I'm just going to quickly put this back together again, and we're going to see what's going on with something else in a few moments. Now, as you know, we are Science in a Van. We go to schools all over New Zealand delivering science shows. We are taking bookings at this moment in time. If you want to know more about that, go to www.scienceinthevan.co.nz, and all the information you need there about us going into schools, material world and physical world. So check us out, and hey, we might see you physically shortly. Okay, now what we're going to do today, the main part of today, is actually looking at electronics and trying to find some parts to make a machine from. Okay, so we're going to make a machine. I don't know what this machine is going to do, but we're going to make a machine this week to see what's going on. Now, a few things we need to know about electronics. We've got this here. This here is a UFO ball. It's got two metal things on here. When I touch those, ooh, I complete the circuit and it makes that noise. If I take off, I break the circuit, and so on. So electricity needs a circuit to travel. It can't just go somewhere and it works. It needs to complete the lap, the circuit. So the electricity is leaving here, travelling up through here, along here, and then back, and that completes the circuit. So for a circuit to work, the power source, the battery or whatever, needs a complete circuit. It needs to go away, go through what it needs to do, and then come back to complete the circuit. So we must always have a complete circuit. The other thing is the materials we use is important as well. Here I have a piece of wood. I'm going to take the wood, I'm going to touch it to there, and nothing happens. However, if I take this hex key, put this X key on here, that happens. So the electricity flows through the hex key, but it does not flow through the wooden stick. And there's two different types of materials when it comes to the flow of electricity. We have insulators and conductors. Insulators do not allow the electricity to flow, so this wood is an insulator, but conductors do allow the electricity to flow. So as we explore, go on this mystery tour of electronics, we need to remember that electricity needs a complete circuit to travel through. And we have insulators and conductors. Insulators do not allow the electricity to flow, and conductors do allow the electricity to flow. And as we look at the materials, we'll see insulators and conductors working together, helping each other out, and it's quite amazing. So we're going to get on with the main body of the video, and that is taking this stereo. Stereo that I found dumped, and it was actually full of water, so I wouldn't suggest powering this up. And we're going to take it apart and see what's inside. We're hoping to find a few bits and bobs to be able to make a machine, and like I say, these videos are influenced and by the comments and the work of Peter Fennick, and yeah, we'll see what's in here and we'll go from there. So let's get this set up. I'm going to change the camera over so you can see my workbench. As I do this, there will be a lot of movement, and I'm just going to check a few of the comments. There will be a lot of movement, so don't get seasick, but you might want to grab yourself a quick bit of refreshment, or you might want to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. So I'm going to change the camera over. You might want to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe there. Let's hook this up. Let's do. So you can see. Okay. Now let's get a few tools ready. Probably going to need screwdrivers. So if we look, there's screws all around this thing. This grey bit here seems to lock into this silver bit. If we look at the back, we've got a whole heap of other screws, and then we've got these little spikes that go through these holes, almost like a mortise and tennis joint made out of plastic. So we're going to open this up, and hopefully, if you're inspired to do this at home or in school, fantastic. Few things about taking electronics apart. Never touch anything that is plugged into the mains. Never use anything that is plugged into the mains or fitted into the main electricity. So if you can't see that it's not plugged in, I wouldn't touch it. So things that are not plugged into the mains, don't use those. Anything that has got its own power supply, so like a Bluetooth speaker or a mobile, don't take apart Bluetooth speakers or mobile phones, because although the battery might be flat, it only means it ain't got enough power to do what it's supposed to. There might still be power in there, and that could shock and hurt you. Also, whatever it is, when you take it apart, always have it in your head that it's never going to work again. So make sure it's yours, and make sure it's something you don't want. Okay, so this stereo here, I know it's not plugged into the mains. It hasn't got an internal power supply, so I know it's safe to take apart. I'm still going to be a bit cautious. If I don't know what something is, I'm either going to leave it alone or stop. So let's unscrew here. Before anything starts coming loose. Now you will see this wording unmake written on a lot of the things I take apart. I did a unmaking workshop where we took electronics apart and looked at the materials inside and discussed the if we was to throw them away, how we would throw them away. There's so many different materials inside. How can things be recycled? A few more screws here on the back. So if you're watching live on Facebook, hi my friends. If you're watching later on Facebook or YouTube, hi. It's great to see you. I'm aware that the video's been a bit sticky today. That just seems to happen sometimes. We do try to get the best connection, but you know, things happen. There's another screw there. Don't know if that's going to do something, but who knows. Ooh, first bit come off. There we go. That was quite exciting. I didn't expect that to be so easy. So there's our first bit off. Whether if we're going to use that or not, I don't know. I'm just undoing every screw and just seeing if anything starts to come loose. Oh, that was good. Yeah, that's cool. Now what I'm hoping is this CD thing here. It's a CD player, so it spins the CD. That should have a motor in it. Also, if I push this open and close thing, nothing happens. However, on the cassette player, if I push it, it opens and I can shut it. So this one is mechanical, but this one I think is electronic. So hopefully there's a motor or catch device on there as well. So I've got this open. Oh, that clunk was the side falling off. So in theory, this side should be ready to go as well. Yep, there we are. So we've got the sides off. This is getting exciting. And I don't know where to. Look at that circuit. You can see the circuit there. We can talk about that in a bit. By the way, while we're talking about soldering, when I make these, I'm trying to stay away from anything that would involve soldering or welding or even gluing, really. I'm just touching things, and this whole thing is just falling to bits. So there's no real process to this. Sometimes things just fall off. Other times we have to work at it. I've kind of got something caught on here. I think that will go with a bit of. I think it's actually catched on there. Ah, right, yeah. Just in here, there's two screws screwing that down. So let's remove here. Wow. Can you guys see all right in there? And that's pretty awesome, eh? I can see some. Yes, this should give us some good stuff. So today I'm going to spend about another 5 or so minutes. I'm actually going to try and get something out in this video. And when I've recovered a few parts, like some electronic motors and stuff, we will then tomorrow look at those parts and play with those parts and see what they do. We'll hook them up to some batteries and we'll just see what we've got, and then we can start experimenting and building our machine. So if you've just joined, my name's Alan. I'm from Science in a Van. We go to schools all over New Zealand doing science shows, and what you're seeing here is day one of our electronic mystery tour, where I'm taking some old technology. This stereo I found dumped and it was full of water, so I'm definitely not going to hook it up to the power, and we're just seeing if we can salvage some parts from it and then look at what those parts do and then use those parts to make a machine. And this is all influenced by a guy called Peter Valek, and he's a Czech artist that builds some wild machines. If you look on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook, out there and crazy, and I found them a little bit scary. Inspire you to do something, and art can get emotions going. It's good art. Oh, yeah. So, oh, hang on. That's hooked. There's a little rubber band there. And this rubber band could be really useful. Also, this rubber band could be really easy to lose. So, that's why I have these little jars laying around. I have heaps of these jars. I just find these in second-hand shops, and I just buy the ones that I like. I can keep all my bits in. I'm keeping screws in this one here. So we've salvaged a rubber band. That could be useful. This motor's loose, so I think it's going to come out one way or the other. There. So that's on there. So now I want to get that out. Looking at the motor, I can see it's got 2 pins sticking out the back. Those pins would be good for me to solder and a pair of pliers. And I'm going to release so we retrieved a motor, and what's nice about this motor is it's got this pulley on here. So tomorrow we will look at this motor again. We'll look at this motor again and we'll hook it up to a battery and we'll see what happens. I might try and get a few other bits and bobs out of this and we'll go from there. So I planned to go to about past, but we've had a few I planned to go to about half past, but we had a few technical issues and a few hiccups, and I'm kind of getting into the guts of this. So I'm going to keep the video rolling and we're going to see what happens. Oh, hang on, what happened? Hey, I'm moving this backwards and forwards, which is kind of strange. I'm surprised it moves, and it's actually the volume control here. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. It does that. So who knew? When I push this backwards and forwards, that wheel spins. Put a mark on there. When I'm doing that, it spins. Who knew? Quite exciting. So, hey. Bit confused with where to go now. I've got distracted by the excitement of that. So, tell you what, let's have a look up here. This will mainly be all the stuff for the CD. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. There we go. So I've just undone a screw there. everything I do, we just need to remember that when you take electronics apart, they must not be plugged into a power source. They must not contain a power source, like a Bluetooth speaker or mobile phone has an internal battery that you can't remove, so don't go near it. Even if it's flat, it just means it hasn't got enough power to do what it's supposed to, but it might still have power in it. Doesn't matter how long you left it there for. It's surprising how long batteries can keep a charge. So the main thing we're looking for is electronic motors. The artist that I'm influenced by for this video uses a lot of motors. So if we look, that grey cylinder there looks very much like that grey cylinder there. So that's a motor. We got another motor here, and we've got another gearing system going on, and we've got heaps of cogs and stuff. We might have to do a video about gears as well. That could be another thing we get talking about. Yeah. So, all things are moving. That's exciting. There's actually 2 motors in there. So yeah. I'm going to try and retrieve this motor over here. So if you are inspired to another rubber band, and we got what's another rubber band, a pulley, and what's known as a worm gear here, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to put that in my little treasure pot, and I'll drop my screwdriver, but I found it again. So yeah, if you are inspired to do something like this, like I say, make sure it's not plugged into the mains, make sure it hasn't got its back together again, is probably not gonna work. And see lots of old broken sort of remote control cars laying around. They are fantastic to access. Remove the batteries from those and get amongst it. You will find a couple motors in there and even a few switches, and you can create some pretty cool stuff with there. And like I say, once we've got a few parts out of this, tomorrow's video we will sit down and see what we've recovered and see if we can make it work, or if it even works. So the tools you need for this: a couple of screwdrivers, a pair of pliers. Can't really see what else you will need. We're not going to do any soldering or that kind of stuff. So yeah, now freedom. Now what's nice about the stuff I'm pulling out of here is I can see that it's all accessible. These things here, so I'm going to cut the wires off here. And also, what's kind of good is they seem to have part numbers on it. And like, I love the internet for many reasons, and one of the things is I can tap in that serial number and probably find all the specifications I need to know about this motor. And yeah, both of these motors seem to be the same, so that's great. And we'll look at those tomorrow and see how they work. I can see another motor. Yeah, I'm running a bit over time. I don't want to make these videos too long, but I also want to shoot these videos in real time. I don't want to speed it up. I want you to get an idea what I'm doing, what's going wrong, what's working. I have no idea how to get to those, but I've got a feeling that there's some screws up here that are holding a metal plate in place. So hopefully when I undo those, so if you've watched this video live on Facebook, I know the connection's been a bit iffy, but thank you for persevering. If you're watching later on Facebook, hi there, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave in the comments anything that you want to know, or if you find this interesting, and join us tomorrow for day 2 of the mystery treasure hunt of electronics, and we'll see what else I've managed to get from here. We've got 2 motors so far, and I think I'm on the way of finding 2 more. So not bad for a stereo that was found dumped in the street. Look at this, little gears. By a motor. You know, motors are going to cost you anything from $5 to $10, and I've got the possibility of having 4, maybe 5 motors for free here. Hopefully they'll work, so we'll find out tomorrow. I'm hoping that this screw here. Now, just to let you know, I'm perfectly fine, but when my hand was back here, I did find something a little sharp. So, you know, we just need to bear this in mind. So that, right. Yeah, this is all. The problem I'm having here is the top of the motor was screwed in here. The bottom of the motor is soldered to this plate, which is soldered to there, and that motor is now screwed on there. So I need to get to that the top of that. Black thing is in the way, so I think I need to undo these clips here. Look at that. Cool. Now and then when I undo stuff, I do it in a mind to rebuild it. I'm being a bit rough with this stuff here because I don't think I'm going to rebuild this, because it was found dumped in a street and it did have water in it, so I wouldn't be rebuilding this and putting it out, putting in charge for it to use it at home. So I'm quite happy to kind of be a bit heavy-handed, but I don't want to smash anything. Smashing doesn't really help you retrieve complete parts, and you know, we'll see what happens. So that doesn't want to let me buy it. I need to get this thing off. This is in my way. So again, a pair of pliers might be useful. I'd rather break this than anything to do with the motor, but in an ideal world I would recover. Ah, there we go, it just bent off. And then you try and retrieve everything Other times you just focus on what you want. But it's amazing the things you find in here and how useful they can be. So, whoa, oh, slidey thing. So I retrieved this board here with these two motors on. We'll have a look at this tomorrow and retrieve. I'm not gonna dismantle these wires for yet, because this here will control what these motors do, and we'll work around with it. They've got the same serial numbers, part numbers on as the two motors we recovered. So undoing this, I've got 4 motors out of this. I'm gonna now maybe have another little explore, and then tomorrow we'll look at the parts and see if there's any life in the parts or anything that's going on. So I've overrun a bit. This was supposed to be a half-hour video. It's 45 minutes, but tomorrow we'll be back at 11 o'clock. And like I say, feel free to check us out on our YouTube channel. There might be a bit of extra content up there of what we're doing on our mystery tour of electronics. And please, if you are taking electronics apart, don't have them plugged into the mains, don't have them with their own power source like Bluetooth speakers or mobile phones, and please make sure it's old and it's something you don't want or anyone else don't want it. This was a stereo found dumped full of water, so I'm quite happy to take it apart because it's not safe to use. So that's the end of the video. My name's Alan from Science in a Van. Take care, keep safe, and see you tomorrow.